Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Introspect with me, Sharon Mwangi. If you're new here, karibu sana, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So kama kawaida, let's get into the first two questions of the day. That is, how am I doing and what am I grateful for? Number one, I am doing good, but I could be better. I'm currently struggling with a flu, so the past few days have been a bit tricky. They've been a bit hard. But other than that, I'm doing good. Also, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for the gift of family. This week, we had the privilege to celebrate one of my family members' birthday, and it was really nice. It was really amazing, and I really enjoyed it. So, a quick disclaimer. The reason why I'm holding the mic so close today and I'm not pinning it somewhere. One, this adorable, cute top of mine doesn't have a good place to clip it onto. And I don't want to look weird on the internet. So yeah, there's that. And two, tuko na mafundi. They are doing some renovations. And I thought the closer the mic is to my phone, the easier it is for you guys to hear me. So yeah, just a disclaimer. So now with that, I think we can get straight into today's video. But even before we start with that, let me ask a question. Have you been taking part in the 21 days mental health challenge? Have you? No, it's not a rhetorical question. Have you? Anyway, so for those who do not know what you're talking about, the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the team and I came up with a 21 days mental health challenge, which are just simple, practical day-to-day steps that you can do that help you to build and to work on your mental health. And so far, so good. I've been enjoying it. I think we are only like 1 week in by the time this video is going up. But it's been good. I mean, some days have been harder than others, especially the day we had to exercise and eat healthy. Hey! That was a difficult one for me, but we managed either way. So please don't be left out. Usiachwe nyuma, come and join us. It's not too late to join. You can actually join us as we continue. So now we can finally get into today's video, into today's topic. Today, we are going to talk about this word called S-T-R-E-S-S, and that is stress. In life, we face a lot of stresses. There are so many things that cause us to be stressed. We have work issues, work problems, relationship problems, family problems, financial problems, like when the economy is hard, things are expensive, and you're struggling to make ends meet, you're in debt, you're sick, you're unwell. There's so many things that can really cause us to be stressed and overwhelmed. And all these are things that are very valid and do warrant us to be concerned and to be, stressed once in a while. And I think it is very helpful for each and every one of us to understand that stress is something that we'll have to face. It's not something that, you can escape. It's something that will come, whether you like it or not. And the best way to deal with it is to be prepared for it, to know how can I manage and how can I handle it when the time comes. And I think even when you go like on Google and even on Wikipedia, you can find a very long list on how you can be able to manage and to deal with stress. And we look at a few of them, we look at a few pointers on how you can deal and manage stress. But before that, I want to share one particular thing that I realized that I do as a person. I never thought it was something that really helps me manage stress, but I was like, wow, this is very nice. And I thought, I'm not going to keep information. I'm going to share with you guys. So back when I was in campus, back when I was doing my academic attachment, I was working in a rehab facility. And I remember the first time we got there, we had a brief meeting, even with the patients who were in the rehab. And at the end of the meeting, they said a prayer called the Serenity Prayer. And when I heard it, I was like, wow, because I had never heard about it before. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, that sounds good. That could be my life mantra. The Serenity Prayer goes something like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And let me tell you, that is the most freeing thing I have ever learned. Yeah, because it got to a point I realized that sometimes the reason why we probably struggle with an high stress levels is because we do not know how to differentiate between that which is within our control and that which is outside our control. There's some things and some struggles that we have in life, some challenges that we face, some things that weigh down on us or are very difficult and heavy for us to deal with, that one are very outside our control. And the more you worry about things that are outside your control, it is not beneficial, it is not helpful. The more you worry, the higher your stress is. And now when we get to the things that are within our control, what can we do about them? Because the part that says the courage to change the things that I can. The truth of the matter is, trying to handle and deal with some of the things that cause us stress takes a lot of courage. It's not easy. It's not easy to have to step up in front of your boss. It's not easy for you to address a very difficult conflict. It's not easy for you to be open and vulnerable, and go for therapy. It's not easy for you to unlearn some habits that you've had that are unhealthy. It's not easy for you to get over an addiction. It's not easy for you to go through, the process of grief and loss. It is not easy for you to revisit your childhood trauma and try and heal from it. These are things that need us to really be bold and courageous enough to do them. So the first thing I think that will be very helpful in us learning how to manage stress is, first of all, when the stressful situation comes, assess, is it in my control or outside my control? If it's something that is within your control, well and good. Let's gather the courage to be able to do what we need to do to deal with the stress. If it's something that is beyond your control, hapo unaachana tu nayo roho safi. There's no amount of worrying that you can do that can make the situation go away or make the situation easier. Yeah, choose your battles. Choose your battles. So some other simple ways on how you can be able to manage stress. Number one is what I call avoiding. I think sometimes we put ourselves in situations that make us stressed. So once you know that there are some things that you will do, or there are some places if you go, or there are some people if you hang out with, you are bound to be more stressed, or you're bound to feel triggered to be stressed, or it triggers you in a certain way, then avoid. If you know very well piling up your work will make you feel very stressed at the end of the week because you will not have achieved your targets, then avoid it. Do something about it. This is where you take responsibility and you take accountability for what can you do right now to make sure that you are protecting yourself from being stressed. If it's people who when you hang out with them, you're bound to make the wrong choices and to make the wrong decisions, and they kind of push your buttons a little bit, then you don't have to always hang out with them. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So avoid situations that you know very well will put you in a position for you to be stressed. But let's be honest, there are some people who we cannot avoid, or there are some places where we cannot avoid in as much as we want, because there are, for example, if it's your boss or if it's your co-workers, you have to see them every other day at work, right? Or if it's your family. So how do you deal with that? I think the second thing that you can do is what we call adapting. When you are adapting, it means you are not naive to the fact that these are people or this is a situation that can actually push me to be stressed, but you put boundaries. You are aware that these are people or this is a situation that does make me feel stressed once in a while, and I know that I do not have control at the moment I cannot choose whether this situation is something that I can do away with, or these are not people I can choose at the moment whether I can do away with them. So it is for you to learn how to adapt. How do you adapt in such a situation? Number one, you can be able to set your own boundaries. Draw the line. Know where your boundaries are and communicate your boundaries healthily and effectively. Adapting also means you need to be willing to compromise on some things. Some things you might not always have your way as you desire, but be willing to compromise up to a certain point that does not cross your boundaries. Also, I think this was very helpful because I saw it somewhere. It's called the 5-5-5 rule, and it helps with people who want to learn how to adapt, which is in the moment where you feel stressed or you feel triggered by a particular situation, take 5 minutes before you react or before you say anything or before you take it up as a burden for you to carry. In those 5 minutes, ask yourself, will this thing matter to me in the next 5 years? If the answer is no, then don't waste any other 5 minutes. trying to think about it or trying to even worry about it or be concerned about it. Because a lot of times we are stressing about things that are only here and now, like just for here and now, and we are carrying it in our hearts and in our minds as though it's something that is going to affect our 5 years from now. And the last thing that can be very helpful when dealing with stress is something we call self-care. And self-care is very broad, it's very wide, and I think a lot of people, when they hear self-care, they think, oh, it's the spa date, it's taking myself out on a date, it's buying myself gifts, and those are good, it's good to pamper yourself, but self-care also looks like being kind to yourself, saying positive words to yourself, not always talking negative about yourself. Self-care looks like even taking care of your financial well-being, preparing yourself, knowing the basics about finances, for you to be able to avoid being stressed in the future concerning finances. How about you learn how to take care of yourself as far as finances are concerned? If it is your health, put your health as a priority. What can you do about your health right now that is going to prevent you from being stressed even in the future? Whether that looks like working out, if it is eating healthy, if it is drinking a lot of water, those simple things that we do, they really go a long way. Self-care also looks like taking care of your emotional health, not being around people, who are always poking and laughing and making fun of your insecurities. Self-care looks like avoiding the wrong crowd. Self-care looks like embracing the right people. Yeah, so those are just a few ways in which you can be able to manage and to deal with stress. They are not the only ones. We just don't have a lot of time to talk about all of them, but these are just some simple things that you can do to be able to take care of your mental health, to make sure that you're dealing with stress and also avoiding stress in the future. And the introspection question of the day today is, what am I stressing over today that is beyond my control? Is there anything that I am stressing about right now that is beyond my control? And what are things that I'm stressing about at the moment that is within my control, and what can I do about it? Yeah, so that is all for today. I know it was a very short, simple video, but I hope you've learned something, and I hope you go and practice it. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, and please follow us on our Instagram platform, that is Introspect_KE. Also on my personal platform, that is mwangi.sharon on Instagram and mwangi.sharon on TikTok. Yeah, so with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.